Hello, second grade champions. Today we are beginning a chapter book, and it's my understanding that if you've decided that you'd like to learn more about animals, and we're going to read a book that I've had for a while. It's a chapter book by Baglio, Kittens in the Kitchen, and I'm excited to share it with you. It's been a while since I've read this book. You can see I still have a marker in here from, I'm not sure how long ago, but a while. So let's get started. Chapter 1. And it has a picture of a little basket on the front. So maybe that's telling us something. Mandy, you're very eager to get to school all of a sudden, Dr. Adam Hope said. He watched his daughter stuff old newspapers into her backpack. She flung on her school jacket, flicked a brush through her dark blonde hair, and snatched a mouthful of toast. It's only 10 to 8. Are you sure you're okay? Very funny, Mandy said. Of course I'm okay. It's just a special day, that's all. She'd fed her rabbits and done her morning chores at Animal Ark. Simon, the nurse, had come in to look after the animals and take temperatures and give medicines. Now she was free to go. School trip? Dr. Adam took a guess as Mandy unlocked her bicycle padlock and put on her bike helmet. He got no reply. New boyfriend? Ha ha, Mandy said. No time now, Dad. I'll tell you later. She set off up the driveway, her long legs pedaling like mad. She waved at her mother. What's the rush? Dr. Emily Hope rolled down her car window. But Mandy had already sped by under the wooden sign, Animal Ark Veterinary Clinic. She took one look back at the old stone cottage with its modern vet's extension to the rear. Then she pedaled hard again. She's up to something, Mandy heard her mother say. She's got that determined look on her face. Mandy knew they wouldn't have a clue what she wanted with the old newspapers, but she ignored them and charged up the lane toward Welford Village. She'd kept her mystery until evening, after her mother came back from her round of visits to the sick cats, dogs, goats, and hamsters that made up the busy practice of Animal Ark. She gave her mom and dad one last wave before she turned out into the road. See you later, she yelled. This is it. This is the big day, Mandy greeted her friend, James Hunter. As usual, his straight brown hair flopped onto his forehead, and his glasses sat halfway down his nose. Hi, he said. Do you realize I've dragged myself out of bed half an hour early to meet you outside this rotten store? He was breathless from pedaling. My dad nearly dropped dead with shock. Come on, Mandy said, ignoring his protest. Let's go and see. Mandy and James rode their bicycles out of Welford on the 2-mile stretch into Walton, past all the sleepy cottages and wide-awake farms with their collie dogs at the gate. She never once stopped chattering. It's going to be today. I know it. She had a feeling about these things. James nodded and panted to keep up. I'm so excited I can hardly wait. The ground sped by under their wheels. She's been looking for a warm, dry place, and that's always a sign. Anyway, she refused her food yesterday. James nodded again in agreement. I did see her on the custodian's porch yesterday after school, behind the stack of logs. She's a very smart cat. They pedaled down the final hill. Mandy's short hair blew back in the wind. The new one-story houses of Walton greeted them. Spick and span, Walton Moore School lay behind the housing development, another new building that backed onto open countryside. Mandy and James rode through the gate into the deserted playground. Mr. Williams, the custodian, strode through the yard, setting out parking cones for the garbage truck. It was Thursday, trash collection day. Morning, Mandy called with James running to catch up. But Mr. Williams was a man of few words. He ignored her greeting. Shh, now, Mandy warned James. They'd left their bikes locked up in the shed and came up behind the custodian's house. We don't want to disturb her. Carefully, they peered over the beech hedge, neatly trimmed by Mr. Williams. They scanned his pink rose bushes and the porch at the back of his house. Mandy, James dared to whisper, does Mr. Williams know about this? He was cleaning his glasses on his school sweater. I mean, what will he say if he finds us snooping around on his porch? He won't mind, Mandy whispered back. How could anyone mind about animals? Mrs. Williams sometimes puts out food. I bet that's why Walton has chosen their porch to have their babies on. Mandy's face shone with excitement. Walton? James didn't realize the cat had a name. It was small, black and white, and rather ordinary. As far as he knew, it was a stray. But then Mandy had kept details about the cat pretty much to herself up to now. I named her after the school, Mandy said. According to Mrs. Williams, she just turned up on the main doorstep one night, dumped inside a plastic bag with tiny air holes to breathe through. Can you believe it? People can be so cruel. Mandy could feel the prick of tears in her eyes even now. She was only a young cat and someone just dumped her. She sniffed and tried to pull herself together. She would have died if I hadn't come along early next morning and gone to the teacher's room for some milk for her. She was really neglected. I had to build her up, she squared her shoulders. Anyway, that was 6 weeks ago. She's the school cat now, only a sort of half stray, so it's up to us to look after her. With that, Mandy eased open the back gate into the Williamses' garden. Walton, Walton, she coaxed, bending low and looking under the raised porch into the dark space there. James peered up into the porch itself behind the stack of logs. No cat. Walton, Mandy called a bit more loudly. A black and white shape trotted across the long shadows of the lawn and over the flower bed. A round, heavy shape, nearly as wide as she was long, with a low belly. James spotted her first. Mandy, look, he said. Mandy breathed a sigh. They'd gotten here in time. Hello, Walton, she said. Here's a nice, comfy place for you to give birth to your lovely kittens, see? She climbed the porch steps. The cat followed. Mandy delved into her bag and pulled out the old newspapers. She showed them to Walton and let her sniff them. See? Nice and warm and dry. Then she and James banked up some of the logs to make a sort of den for Walton. They lined it with the newspapers, carefully overlapping them in thick layers. See? Mandy said again. Walton brushed against Mandy's bare legs. She tilted her head up toward the special bed of logs and newspaper. Her delicate nose and whiskers seemed to approve, for she climbed, slow and heavy, up onto the ledge. It's in the sun, nice and warm, James said. Good idea. He grinned at Mandy and then blushed. In the distance, the morning bell sounded. Was that the bell? He asked clumsily. Then he shot off for homeroom before Mandy could reply. So here's a picture. They're on the porch, kind of secretly, and they're making the place for Walton to, I think, have kittens. So we'll find out. We have read the first 6 pages, and we'll start there tomorrow, the bottom of page 6. Thank you so much, second grade champions. I hope you will enjoy this book, Kittens in the Kitchen. Take care, and see you tomorrow. Bye.